When I was about 8 or 9 years old, we went on a family vacation up to a place called Happy Camp. They had a spring, and this water had natural carbonated water. And I could remember as a little kid thinking about that spring and said, if we could pipe this down to my school, when we turned on the water spigots, we could get soda, and I could have different flavors of soda. I wouldn't have to drink the water that I drink. I went to work with my father when I was 5 years old. Galco's itself goes back to like the roots is 1897. About 10, 11 years ago, the Pepsi-Cola salesman came in and he said, I got the best buy you're ever going to get on a pallet of Pepsi-Cola cans. I'm only going to charge you $5.59 a case. And I said, thank you, but no thank you. I'm going to send my customers down the street to Ralph's because they're going to be on sale down there for $1.99 a 12-pack. And he says, well, you can't do that. Pepsi-Cola is a demand item, and your customers are going to demand that you carry Pepsi-Cola. And I said, my customers are going to be happy I was honest with them and send them down the street. They can buy them cheaper than I can buy them. And after 2 weeks of really being upset, I said, thank you very much, Pepsi-Cola, for reminding me that I own my shelf space and I can do anything I want. So I immediately went out and found 25 little brands of soda. Gee whiz, they were still in glass bottles, and I put them on the shelf. And you know, people would come in and look at them and say, what are you doing with all those old things that don't sell? And when I got to 250, it's where you're finding them. So now we have about 500 different sodas. If you're going to get a root beer, the one that's hardest to find is the Red Ribbon because it's made with the bark of sassafras. If you're looking for a lemon lime, try the Bubble Up. It's still made with lemon and lime oils. The Manhattan Special, the company that makes the coffee soda, they've been making coffee soda since 1895. The same family in Brooklyn. They roast the coffee beans, they brew it, they bottle it. A little 10-year-old kid, he comes running in, he says, where's that cucumber soda you made me buy? And I'm laughing. I mean, I thought it was pretty funny. A little kid asking for a cucumber soda. You know, they don't drink cucumber, they don't drink vegetables. I mean, you know, people say, well, you're here and you're working all the time, and I'm saying, I don't work. I just play all day long. I come in and play. It's flavored water with a lot of bubbles. But if I were going to define it in one word, I'd say happy. I mean, or smile. By the way, you should taste it. What do you guys want? People come in here and they look around and they said, well, this is overwhelming. I didn't know there was this many flavors of soda. What really has happened is it's given exposure to little bottlers that they've never had before. We just picked up another independent bottler. They've been bottling since 1926. The mother, the daughter, and 2 brothers bottle. Those floral sodas, the fellow calls me, you got to carry my sodas. I'm from Romania. We still know how to press the rose petals. And he said, I'm going to send you samples. And I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking perfume. Wow. Crisp, clean rose soda. The American public has never been exposed to anything like that before. We bought the Total Run. They're not available anywhere else in the United States. And so I said, Illy, what else do you make? Well, I have a cucumber. But the problem is that nobody will give me a chance. So we commissioned a run of the cucumber. First lady comes in. Oh, this isn't what I was expecting at all. It's actually very good. When the American public has the choice, they're going to buy it. They're going to try it. The way a product goes in a glass bottle is the way it comes out. Everything is overcarbonated in plastic because it starts breathing, and it has about a 4-month shelf life, so they get flat as they go along. But when you put something in a glass bottle, I will tell you, the caps are so technologically advanced that the way it goes in is the way it comes out 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Have you ever picked up an old glass bottle?
Oh, wow, heavy.
That'll hold carbonation. The bottles today are very thin glass. And if they have a weak spot in them, they'll explode if you put too much carbonation in them. You could drop these and they'll actually bounce. They won't break. I mean, I dropped them and they just, boom, they don't break. Talk about reusable. Most diet sodas are really pretty bad. I mean, they just don't taste good. There's been a few that have come out. Stewart's, Black cherry diet is probably the finest diet black cherry I've ever tasted. There's Jones has a diet green apple that's very good. And then there's Sprecher's, which has a low-cal root beer, which has like 11 calories, and it's not a true diet, but it's low enough if you're watching calories. But other than those 3 or 4 or 5, most diet sodas, drink less. How's that? Drink 6 ounces rather than 12. And you get 60 calories versus 120 calories. And then you're satisfied and you're happy. Everything prepared in this country has corn syrup in it, and it's totally unnecessary. The largest single crop in the world is cane sugar. It's larger than corn and wheat put together. It takes 3 times less sugar to sweeten with than it does corn syrup. I mean, take a look around at the diabetes. You'll never get an allergy from sugar. You're going to get an allergy because there's a spore in corn syrup that cannot be refined out, and people have allergies to corn products. So why would you use corn as a sweetener? We have some, yes, the Stewart's, the IBCs, and the Crush. They're contract bottled, and they're done in glass, but they're done with corn syrup for the supermarkets primarily. We carry them because they don't come any other way. Once a year, Coca-Cola makes a kosher Coke just before Passover. The kosher one will be cane sugar. It'll have a yellow cap. It'll have a U in the upper left-hand corner with a circle around it, and the label will still say corn syrup. It won't be changed. Try the two side by side and then tell me. The one with the cane sugar just goes pop, and it explodes, and the flavor just wham, it's delicious. And the one with the corn syrup is like... What I would like to see is a root beer cola. There was actually a company about 100 years ago called Root Beer Cola, and it was a cross between a root beer and a cola. And I'm just fascinated with that. Or I'd like to see a pineapple cream. So I just think it would just be delicious. And I've been trying to get somebody to make it, so we'll see. Oh, energy drinks, they taste bad. They're small cans, small sizes, big price. I mean, Red Bull sells in the billions. I mean, Coca-Cola wish they could get that kind of a profit out of an 8 or a 12-ounce can. And for what? Big business loves big government. They just take the marketplace up, eliminate all the little guys. They run them out of business, and then they jack the prices up and control the market. But you look at the candy section, it's Nestle's, Hershey's, and Mars. Or you look at the soda pop market, it's Coke and Pepsi. My thought had always been that what I wanted to do was do business with other businesses my size, to help them become unique businesses. And that's exactly what's happening. And what's really interesting about it is that out of all the things that we sell wholesale, one business a mile away from the other, and what they're selling is totally different. One restaurant we sell to, they love the floral sodas. And another place, they can't give them away, but they're doing the red ribbons. And I'm going, isn't this interesting that everybody has found their own level and their own niche, and they've done it on their own. The important thing is to set yourself apart and provide your customers with something that nobody else has. The most common thing I hear from the American public is, what's the best? And Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola would like you to believe that what they make is the best. Everybody's taster is different. I can tell you what I like, or I can make suggestions. I mean, the New York Times called the best cola ever made Fenneman's Curiosity Cola. It's brewed like a beer. It has natural carbonation. It has ginger in it. There's so many people who came in here that's still looking for RC Draft, which was a very soft cola, very smooth. And so I point them out and I said, well, maybe you want to try a Rock and Rye, which is a cream finished cola from Detroit, a very old brand. So try all these and then tell me what the best is for you. Who do you think passed CRV laws? You're going to get me on my soapbox again, and then you're going to have to point the camera up. It wasn't written for the consumer, and it certainly wasn't written to keep this country green. It was written so Coke and Pepsi wouldn't have to wash a bottle and they wouldn't have to make recyclable bottles, and they could transfer the cost to the consumer. I called the recycling center when I got started, and I said, listen, I want to put a recycling center in. They bring them back to me, and I'll give them the money, and I'll sell them some more sodas. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that, because you have a recycling center 2 blocks away. I said, yeah, but they don't give the full price, and I want to give the full price to the customers to get them back to sell them some more. And he says, well, if you did anything like that, you'd be in restraint of trade, and you could probably get sued by the state. If we were really caring about the environment, we would have reuse, not recycling. Oh, I'll drink 1 or 2 a day, but I'll actually have diets, or I'll have water or something. You know, and I like carbonated water. I mean, I started drinking carbonated water about 20 years ago. I just like the bubbles. If you get a bottle of Gerolsteiner, and it has the great big bubbles, and then there was another one from Germany called the Pollinarius with the little fine bubbles. And then I just tasted one today, a Vichy water, but it came from Spain, from Catalonia. And I tasted it, and that had the finest bubbles I've ever tasted. I mean, it was really, really fine mineral water. What would you like? If you've been looking for double cola and can't find it, we have it. Before 1900, it was called a lot of cola. Now it's just double cola, and when you taste it, you'll know why they called it double cola. Below it is the Red Ribbon, by far the cherriest of all the cherry sodas. When you taste it, it's just, oh my goodness. The Hot Lips, this is actually a pizza kitchen up in Oregon. They're made from 100% organic fruit. And if you turn them upside down like this, you'll actually see the fruit come into the neck of the bottle. And we also have from Central America Bananina. This one actually tastes like a Jolly Rancher banana. It's the only banana soda I've ever tasted that tastes good. This is very interesting. This is made from the bark of the mabi tree, and it's actually brewed like a beer. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago that this was available commercially. Up until that time, if you went to the Caribbean, it was made home brewed, and that's the only way you can get it. This is Moxie, the original elixir. This one's been around since 1884. By the way, it's the only soda to ever make it into dictionary. And it came in a 6.5 ounce bottle, and if you could drink 2 of them, you had a lot of Moxie. And we have the Manhattan Specials, and they're all natural. They're a natural bottler. If you look at the bottom, you'll see the fuzz, and that's because they use real vanilla beans. If you look at their orange, you'll see the pulp of the fruit in their orange. So whatever you're interested in, we have it. And if we don't, we're looking.